Okay, so the first review of the month is the Tempest V2 Brolly, and I've just got my hands on this. I've had it about a couple of weeks, but this review is part used and abused and parts what's new, because the Tempest Brolly, the original one, I've used that for quite a long time and I absolutely loved it, and that is the reason why I've now got my hands on this one. So I've used the life out of the old Tempest Brolly, and this one is pretty much brand new, only a couple of weeks old. So we're slotting right in the middle. But I absolutely love this bivvy, and the Tempest Brolly is something that took a little bit of convincing for me. When I first saw the Tempest, you know, that original Tempest bivvy many years ago now, I immediately liked it, but it was a bit heavy, it was a bit big. I just loved the concept. I loved the way the block in the middle made it go up so easy, and I could see that there was very much potential there. But being a Brolly user, it was so much bigger, so much heavier than anything I'd wanted to use in the past, so I didn't bother using one, and I just always hoped that they'd bring another one out. Then came the Tempest Air, again, still quite heavy, like just not perfect for what I wanted. And eventually the Tempest Brolly came out, and I didn't get one straight away, but I was fishing a lake at the time, and I wanted something a little bit bigger than my Brolly, something to block the path off a little bit, because you had public coming around a lot of the time. So I thought, right, it's got a tiny bit of a bigger footprint than the Brollies, I'll get one of them. So I got myself a Tempest Brolly, and I absolutely loved it. From the word go, I loved the thing. I noticed straight away the coverage inside, you know, not having those spokes makes a big difference. And I have used bivvies in the past, but you don't get the spoke system and all that, and that's fine, but they're not very easy to put up. It's always a bit of a mess around, they're never self-supporting, so you always have to peg them in. And I just found bivvies an absolute no-go, whereas Brollies I always really liked. This thing is the perfect combination between the two, and I guess that's why they call it the Tempest Brolly, because it is a bivvy, but very much a Brolly at the same time for the ease of use. These things go up in seconds. You know, this one here goes up exactly the same as the old bivvy. They weigh very little, and they are the two things that I really wanted from a bivvy. You know, it has to go up quick, and I don't want it to weigh a lot. I'm not too worried about the wind and the rain and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't really bother me. It's all about how big is the bivvy. I don't want it to be too big. I don't want it to weigh too much, and I don't want it to be a mess around getting the thing together. So with this thing, none of those issues, you know, and I absolutely love it. The coverage you get inside, like I've said, put your bed chair to the back of this, torrential rain, you don't even need a front on it, you know, the rain does not come in. You can pull it as wide as you like, as high as you like. There's so much you can do with it. It's so versatile. It's freestanding, you don't need any pegs if you don't want to. Quite often I just fish on overnighters, just put the tension strap together, chuck it over the top of the bed chair. It is just wonderful to use, you know, and it suits my kind of fishing, that mobile approach, down to the ground. But I don't get the back pains that I used to get in my Brolly, you know. It's all well and good wanting a little bivvy in that, but if you're fishing all the time, it's not going to do you any favours in the long run, and I've certainly started to experience that in the last few years. So having that extra room now is something that I really treasure, and I certainly don't miss the old spoke system Brollies. This one, the V2, they've made quite a few changes to it from the original Tempest Brolly which I had before, and I'll go through them now. The first thing they've changed is the material. It's a higher spec material, so it's a nicer colour as well. I wasn't too keen on the colour of the last skin, but this one is a lovely olive green. It's thicker, it's still a nylon, but it's thicker, more durable, nicer colour, and just an all-round better material. The block in the centre, that's also been changed. It's been made stronger and lighter. And normally to make something stronger you have to make it heavier, and they've not had to do that. So it's stronger and it's lighter. You can see the advantages there straight away. Some nice green pegs. I've never seen green pegs with a bivvy before, but they've got carpy green pegs with this one. Takes some getting used to. It's a bit of a change, that is. But yeah, green pegs. And the other big thing is the poles. They've changed the way the poles slot together. Originally there was nothing to keep the poles in line, and because they sort of kind of got a bit of an angle in them, when you slot them together, a lot of the time you'd put all your 5 poles together, then you'd have to go round and sort of straighten them up so they would sit right. These have got some little ridges put inside the poles, and that means that when you slot them together, they slide in perfectly. They're already aligned, and once that pole is slotted into place, you don't have to revisit it when you go back round to actually get the bivvy up. So stick your poles together once you've got it out the bag, fan it open. Once you've got it nicely fanned open, then you're going to use that really cool block on the top of the bivvy, and that is the killer thing about the Tempest. It is the way this thing goes up. Grab the bar, close it down, little catch goes over the top, and you're pretty much done. I put the tension strap in after that, and then I'll spin it round, put it over the top of my over the top of my bed chair. 3 pegs, like I say, you don't need to use any pegs. I generally just chuck 3 in it. Undo your tension strap, get the bits out of the way, and away you go. You know, it's that simple, and it is by far my favourite bivvy. All of those changes, however, they are improvements on the original bivvy. They're not necessarily changes, they're just improvements on what they had in place before. Whereas there are 2 things they have added to this, which to me elevate it to the next level of wonderful bivviness. And we're coming into the summer now, and the mozzie mesh is an imperative piece of tackle for me. Tackle, if you call it tackle, whatever. I need a mozzie mesh is what I'm saying. Once it gets to the summer, I get battered by them, and I'm sure there's loads of you that do as well. They definitely like some of us more than others, but I have to use a mozzie mesh. And with the other one, because you didn't have a door or anything like that, I used to have to sort of bodge one into place. Bit of a mess about, but it did sort the situation out and I didn't used to get stung. However, they have now put a zip on the inside of this bivvy. And to that zip, you can attach 2 things. The first of which is a mozzie mesh. Thank you. So yeah, got a mozzie mesh, zips in lovely. It's a nice lightweight mesh. It's not that big heavy duty stuff. It's really fine, really light, which is also very important. And you can put a door in as well. So a mozzie mesh and a door as attachments. The mesh is 30 quid, the door is 50 quid. And once you've bought those 2 things, you know, the Brolly itself is 230 quid. You're looking at £310 all in. And that's with a door, a mesh, and the bivvy itself. When you compare that to a Tempest bivvy, you're looking at 700 odd pound for that, or any other bivvy on the market for that matter. 300 quid for a bivvy of this quality, with this versatility, that is this lightweight. You are simply not going to get any better than that, in my opinion. And if you are a Brolly user, like I was for many, many years, if you get a new bivvy at any point, take a look at one of these, because I promise you, you will not look back.